Well, hello everyone, my name is Prem and welcome to a very special episode of ATS Showcases, and today it is the 1000 subscriber special. I cannot even believe I am saying that. Thank you guys so much for the support. It's unbelievable, and well, I'm kind of back in a sense. It's been a rough week, I'll get into that in just a second, but we are here in Logan today and we're heading up to Nampa, and we're actually taking some gifts as part of the Christmas event. But first, I need to let you guys know that once again I've got some limited time merch, but this time it is for the Prime 1K launch, so you'll be able to get this merch until January 1st 2022, so right on New Year's Day at midnight Eastern Standard Time. I can't emphasize enough that this is limited edition, so once it's gone for good. So if you are interested in this collectible piece of Prime Simulation history, check out the merch at the Prime Simulation merch store. Alright, we've got a delivery to get going, so why don't we hop in the truck here, get it started up. Of course, I'm in the 2022 Freightliner Cascadia. Why wouldn't I? I love this truck, and well, it is my 1000 subscriber special, so I'm going to make it special for myself. So first of all, the elephant in the room, we're at 1000 subs, people. Huge thank you to that. And I guess in a sense, welcome. I'm kind of welcoming myself back here. It has been a little bit since I've actually done an episode that is like this. Main reason being I have been awfully busy, and I've actually had a rough week overall. And I was in utter shock when I saw that the channel actually hit 1000 subscribers and how it did it. So huge shout out and thank you to Darius, actually, the community manager at SES Software, or at least one of them. And yeah, that was a shock. I noticed then when I was finally back online, I was offline for a good few days, and I noticed that he posted on his Twitter basically a shout out for me and telling people that I was getting really close to 1000 subs, and that people should go check me out. And to those people, thank you very much, and to everyone else, all the Prime Timer family, thank you very much. This means a lot to me. It is very special to be saying that we're at the 1000 subscriber mark. Honestly, this is unbelievable, and well, I've got a Q&A coming up here in just moments time. Hopefully I can get around this intersection. I'm not turning left at this intersection though, so I don't know why I have my indicator on, but that's fine. Back into Prime Antics, that's all good. But yeah, it has been just a crazy week. I've been able to do some of the Prime news stuff that's happened, but not all of it, I don't believe. I think I did miss out on one blog post, but I guess you could say it wasn't overly major. But yeah, let's go ahead and get rolling here. Looks like that guy's still waiting, so we're going to take advantage of that. And let's get into the Q&A, because thank you guys for responding on by various different methods, both on obviously the posts that I've put out asking for the Q&A, Twitter, and other methods of contacting me. That was very nice to hear your questions, and so we've got 10 here that were basically what everyone else. I got a ton of questions, so I had to filter through them and basically get the ones that were answering the stuff that was most general to what everyone was asking. So number one, when did I start playing ATS and ETS2? Well, I had to do research on the one. To be honest with you, ATS I started in October. I guess it was October of 2017 in the latter bit of the months. That was a while ago, and of course I wasn't doing videos then at all, and I started it on my old little laptop. It was actually the demo originally, and then obviously I bought the game in October of 2017, so I guess it was only about a year after the game launched, because I do believe ATS actually launched in September of 2016, if I'm correct. So I was pretty early on ATS, but when it came to ETS2, it was actually this year, at least 2021. It was March, the end of March is when I actually picked up ETS2 and started doing actual gameplay coverage on that. So that is... It's quite simple there. I did kind of the opposite, really, of what a lot of people do, and obviously I guess some people are going to be like me, but I started with ATS and then went to ETS2, and I actually had the ETS2 demo first, which I guess is one thing, but then did the ATS demo and then decided to get ATS instead of Euro Truck Simulator 2. I think mainly just because I wanted to check out some of the trucks that I could actually see around me before doing some of the ETS2 stuff, but that was the reason for that one. So the next question is, where are you from? So for those who don't know, I am from the great old land of the North, also known as Canada. If you haven't been able to tell by either my slight accent, which some of you have actually pointed out, and if not, just looked on the channel or been around long enough where I've actually said it. I am from Canada. I won't specifically say where though. That is just because I don't feel like having my my day-to-day security being possibly interfered with, let's just say that. But yeah, I'm from Canada. Next up is, when did you start making videos? Sorry if I do take a pause though between asking some of the questions. I have to look at my list here, and unfortunately my list is slightly farther away than what I thought it was going to be when I set up my little thing here for this episode. But nonetheless, when did I start making videos? It was actually the 1st of February in 2020. It was a 911 operator video, my very first official gameplay video that I did on the channel. I did do a little Prime Simulation teaser, kind of official channel trailer video, I think a couple days or so before. But that was the first video I actually did. Don't know how any of you guys, for those who've been around basically since the beginning, I don't know how you guys managed to watch through that, because the quality has been absolutely insane. The progression, at least in my opinion, and I think you guys can agree, it has. I've made steps. I've learned a lot. Of course, I enjoy the learning process of this. It's kind of the fun bit as well, to always be innovating and stuff like that. We've come a long way, and it is really, really cool, to be honest with you, to see where we were, or where I was first day of doing YouTube to now where we are today. Next question is, what is the story behind Prime Simulation? Why are you called Prime, and how did it start? Well, that is a very good question. It was a complete joke. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It was never intended to become anything like this, actually. Way back when I was still in high school, I was very interested in doing a lot of, I guess you could say, more exuberant projects in different design and stuff like that. And so I always thought it would be funny to have like this production company, or production name was a logo and end credit thing, all that stuff, for some of my projects. And Prime Simulation and Productions was formed. Obviously, I went through multiple iterations of the name. The logo was right off the bat saying what it is, other than it was blue. So if you notice in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you see that little icon there that you can subscribe and stuff. I'm totally not trying to plug, but it happens to be kind of along those lines, but we'll move on. That's actually the original logo of the channel, and that's why a lot of the features of the channel have still that blue accent to it, along with obviously the white and the black I've more adopted to for a more clean look. But overall, that's where it started. That logo in the bottom corner is the very original logo. The name, obviously, I dropped Productions because Prime Simulation just is easier to say than Prime Simulation and Productions, and it's just because I love simulation gaming. And there's actually a question about that later on, so we'll get into that in a second. But why my name Prime? Who knows? I honestly it was the logo name in the free logo maker I had on my old computer, 2 times older laptop, not older desktop. It was called like Prime Wave or something like that is what the logo was called, and I went with it. I just stuck Prime in front of Simulation and Productions at that point and just called it good. So Prime Simulation was born from there, and when I started kind of got the drive to do a little bit of YouTube stuff, I had the perfect name already. Prime Simulation, was able to actually use it for something, had the logo and a lot of the original graphics kind of already done just for fun, and well, the rest is history. So going back to ATS and ETS2, someone asked, what is my favorite feature / update? I'm kind of combining multiple questions on this. What is your favorite feature / update that has come out for both ATS and or ETS2? Luckily for my case, I can answer this in one answer because it came out in the same update. 1.40, the new lighting update. For me, the lighting update was probably one of the greatest introductions / updates and overall features that we see every time we drive in ATS and ETS2, that has severely impacted, in a positive manner of course, how we play the respective games. And honestly, I looking back at where ATS and ATS2 was prior to 1.40, it is pretty impressive to say how more immersive and how much more unique and dynamic the environments are. It's really, really cool, and I'd say that is my overall favorite feature. And then obviously, I guess if you say what is my favorite feature about the games, is honestly the trucks. Oh, good, I can bypass. It's a special episode. I guess they saw that and they're like, he can continue along. That's all good. But yeah, if you talk about maybe individual features on ATS itself, it would probably be this Freightliner. I really love it. And on ETS2, it's a little bit harder there because I haven't been playing it as long, I guess, so I haven't had too much time prior to some of these updates to actually be able to, experience it. But honestly, seeing the difference between some of the reskin projects and even some of the new trucks, actually, I'd say probably the new DAF trucks are a high favorite of mine as well. So I think that's the best we're going to get on that one. Next question, if I can stay on the road, because I am trying to look at my notes and I put it way too far away from myself in typical Prime fashion. Why did you choose simulation gaming? Well, how'd you get into it, and just why compared to all the other games? Well, simply put it, I have always loved to drive. It has been something since I was a wee little laddie. I've always enjoyed driving. Car, you're going to have to let me go, bud. Thank you very much. I've always loved to drive. It's been kind of in my blood. I've just always loved dealing with equipment, driving, all that stuff. And when it came to gaming, of course, I'd like to portray that as well. So obviously I love doing this stuff because I'm driving, I'm getting to do different things like that. Racing is also a big one. That's why simulation is it as well. I've also never been a huge fan of first-person shooter games or anything like that. It's just not my cup of tea. I know a lot of people love them, but I've just never been into that. It's also something I just don't enjoy watching that kind of stuff either. So I just don't do it. Simply put it, I know you could do war simulation as a category, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of war, so I just don't do it. Yeah, that's best answer for that. I just love driving. I love racing. I do love doing some flying stuff as well. I've had the demo for X-Plane, or at least I used to. But I'm going to get into that in just a second as well. I think you can kind of tell where this is leading. But yeah, it's just simulation gaming has been just I was just naturally drawn to it, I think, because of what I always loved to drive and stuff like that. So naturally I got into the more realism-esque simulators, really. That's the best way to put it. So outside of doing YouTube, of course, what are your favorite hobbies to do, or what are your favorite things to do? Well, music is probably the largest hobby that I have. Music has always been huge for me, and Formula 1 or F1. Formula 1 is just, I mean, that's honestly over the last week, the aftermath of the Abu Dhabi final, and watching the Abu Dhabi final as well, was probably what got me through that pretty stressful time for me. I was very, very busy, and having that kind of mental distraction. Oh, didn't want to go back in the inside, but no, don't mind that. Being able to have that mental distraction and reading all the kind of stuff. I'm the super fan that is basically involved in just about everything when it comes to it. I read all the documentation on the F1 website afterwards. I try and watch all the interviews and stuff that's released on the site, and also all the pre-weekend warm-ups, and if I can, try and get the pre-races, pre-qualifyings, some of the post-race stuff. I'm the ultimate F1 nerd. A nerd fan, I guess. I put it in tiers. You've got kind of bottom tier, you watch race day. You're not a huge fan of watching maybe you'll tune in and skip through qualifying, but you'll watch race day, but nothing really before or after. You just come for the race itself. You've got then kind of the weekend fan, where you're going to check out on the practice session, see where people are, and then you're going to go watch qualifying through, and then maybe watch the 30 minutes before the race and go on. Then you have basically you have the super fan where you try and watch the practice sessions, or at least a lot of them, watch the pre-qualifying and the pre-race, and of course the races and qualifying itself, maybe a little bit of post-race. But then you've got the ultimate F1 fan nerd, which is basically me, and say it as you will, I basically try and keep on top of just about everything and want to know about all the rules and regulations and the various tech stuff. So I have had a little bit of a field day with this last events that's happened. Doesn't matter the side of how you think this finale went down. Both trying to be part of both parties here. It was just amazing to have an epic season. It doesn't matter if you're a Hamilton fan, a Verstappen fan, maybe both. If you really want to just get some of your diehard fans a little upset with you, just toggle between both drivers between races. It has been a fantastic season. We've seen a resurgent Ferrari. We've seen a Red Bull that could actually challenge Mercedes. A Mercedes actually be challenged and yet pull through in certain situations that we thought they wouldn't, and then same with Red Bull pull through where they stereotypically wouldn't have. So that was just very unique to see, and it was always a knife edge, especially with Max and Lewis, depending on what was going to happen. So those are my two main hobbies outside of YouTube, because, well, besides work, then I've got that's about it. So the question I was hinting at earlier is, what other simulation games would you like to play and or record? Well, if I weren't hardware limited, put it that way, if I actually had a graphics card that could do something half decent, I love my GTX 1650, but it's pushed to its limits constantly, let's just say that, by doing these videos. I would love to do flight. That's right now, like, I've got basically the rest of the computer is perfectly built for doing that with pretty much ease, but that graphics card can't deal with any form of flight simulator, especially the newer ones. Love to do some train stuff. Really any form of simulation game, really. I just love simulators. That's the best way to put it. I love racing stuff. I know some racing games are classed more as arcadey than simulation itself. Say it as you will, but I just love simulation, driving, racing, flying. Doesn't matter. I love that stuff. It's just, if I weren't hardware limited and budget limited, ultimately, because some simulators are quite expensive, along with the equipment that help make it more realistic and to enjoy it properly, it is just, I just love simulators in general. And if it weren't for that stuff, I would do basically any simulator game I could. That's the honest answer to that one. Now this one got me thinking a lot, and it was one that when I was asked, I really had to think hard about what my answer actually would be. And that question is, what is your ultimate vision of Prime Simulation? What do you want to see it do? That was a really hard question for me to try and figure out. Because honestly, I haven't really thought that far into the future with Prime Simulation. I think I'm living more in the moment of stuff. I have my little goals, which I'll go into the next question, the final question here. But really, I just want to... this is my hobby, ultimately, and I love doing it. And I would love to see the channel, or channels, because I don't rule out possible multiple channels in the future. I want to expand my YouTube realm of stuff. It's just a matter of time, honestly. I want to see the channels thrive. Really, I want to be able to get to a large market of people and just make their day better if I can, by making them laugh, have some enjoyment and stuff that they enjoy. Let them know on news and updates. That's why I started Prime News in the first place a while ago now. Just keep them updated on stuff and just make a person smile. That's my ultimate goal. And that would be my ultimate vision, be able to get to a large enough market that, I say large enough, I think everything I have when it comes to subscribers and viewership and all that stuff is all proportionate. And I'm going to have to wrap up this question here because we're just around the corner from a delivery and I want to get through the final question. But yeah, ultimately, I don't really know what my ultimate vision. I'd love other than just I want to have, I just want to see the channel thrive. I want to see a great huge simulation family from all different types, and yeah, it would be just really cool to have a larger channel. And if it could be something I could do full time, then that would be a complete benefit as well. And to wrap things up here as we pull into the delivery spot, what is your goal after reaching 1K? What's next? Well, maybe 10K? Haven't thought about that too much. I like baby steps, people. Small steps. Nice, slow and steady wins the race, am I right? So, you know what? I think 10K is a reasonable, at this point, a reasonable next goal. And who knows? Maybe we'll get there quicker, sooner than later. Maybe we won't. Did I even? I don't even know where I'm supposed to park this thing. Am I supposed to park in there? I can't even see where the delivery zone is. Oh, it is in there. Okay, I completely missed that. So let's just try and correct this. Yeah, let's say 10K to answer that question. I think 10K is. I just went up on the curb, but I don't really care. 10K I think is a reasonable rule. That could be next. Man, it is pretty loud in my headphones. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. You can actually hear me talking. But yeah, I say 10K is probably a good goal to strive for. It's within, well, now at least it's within a more attainable reach. Obviously, it's just one of those things that it's a matter of time, and I'm not going to try and rush it. I'm just going to do what I do, try and improve myself more than trying to impress you guys, basically. And I know a lot of you guys will join if you want to. And I guess to answer the question, I didn't intend for this to actually go long. I thought this delivery was going to go longer, so I didn't mean to make you wait till the end if you were waiting to hear this answer when it came to the merch. But the reason why there are 375 Prime Simulation logos on the back of the shirt and the hoodie is simple. It's kind of symbolic, I guess, in a way. Then not simple, but whatever. Prime logic. It is because at 375 subscribers, I'm going to shut off the truck here. 375 subscribers is when the growth and trajectory of Prime Simulation really decided to go upwards. It was already going up on a pretty good trend anyways, but 375... it basically just started going up real quick. The other reason is, and if you really want to, this is a long shot, every symbol or every logo of the Prime Simulation logo on those shirts or hoodies represent 2.6 prime timer viewers or Prime Simulation viewers. It's out of the 1,000, out of the all the subscribers, 2.6 of you each logo. To be honest with you, I wanted to try and get 1,000 on the back, but there was no way I was going to do that and you actually be able to see it and make out that it was actually my logo. Also, Teespring was going to have a pretty bad day was trying to print that. So we settled for 375. It worked out for the number, but compared to everyone's in 1,000, I accidentally hit the wrong button there, but don't worry about that. Compared to everything else, you know what? It's fine. Ultimate thing is that's where I'm going at, is where it took off, the channel took off at that point. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode and all the other episodes. Thank you for the 1,000 subscribers. I'm so excited for what the future has to hold. Of course, I have been very busy, and I am hoping to get the Christmas special out on Christmas Day. If not, maybe a little bit before that, depends on what happens. But I've got some fun stuff in store for that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.